Welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen, and joining me this week are Josh Widdicombe, Zoe Lyons and Matt Ford, Ed Byrne, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. We start with a round called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Matt, which category would you like?
World news, please.
OK, world news it is. The answer is petrol, money and drugs. What is the question?
Is it the 3 middle names of Princess Charlotte?
Is it what 3 things might a Greek keep in a chicken?
Is it what do gangsters play instead of rock, paper, scissors?
Is it what 3 things are keeping Keith Richards alive?
Is it what in The Sound of Music are the Von Trapp's family's real favourite things?
What are the 3 characters called on a packet of Colombian Rice Krispies?
Is it what 3 things are we being paid in this evening?
All together in one big bucket.
Yeah.
What will the motto be for the Qatar World Cup?
Is it complete the song? Hugh Pew, Barney McGrew.
That scans. That probably scans very, very
A
well.
much better song, wouldn't it?
It would have been very good.
What are the 3 main aisles in a Bolivian Waitrose?
Does anyone know the correct answer?
You know that tattoo you got that you think says peace, love and harmony? Is it to do with Greece?
It is to do with Greece.
Is it what 3 things are they worn in Greece are about to run out of?
Ah, very good. Thank you very much, Ed Byrne. That's excellent. Yes, the question I was looking for is what items are at risk of running out in Greece after Sunday's crucial vote on the EU's bailout terms. This is news as 61% of the Greek population voted against accepting the strict austerity measures proposed by the EU. There's now a real risk that the country will run out of money, fuel and medicine. So what does it all mean for Greece?
It's ridiculous now. The whole thing is just going on. It is like a soap opera. And I don't watch the Eurozone crisis now day to day. I wait till Sunday and I watch the Omnibus edition.
This thing of just referring to the Greek exit as Grexit, it just is like, are you in that much of a hurry that you couldn't say a 3rd syllable?
If the British exit happens, it's going to be called Brexit. It sounds like a cheap form of Lego, or what the Greek Prime Minister does every time he meets Angela Merkel.
I don't get this thing that you can... I didn't know that you could reject banks' demands. If I'd known that, my whole life would have been different. If I'd been able to go to the bank and go, well, I do owe you 10 grand, but I really like my lifestyle.
It could be, but it could be a mis-selling scandal, doesn't it? Because as far as I'm aware, Greece was never made to sign that box that said your home is at risk if you do not keep up the repayments.
You think they're waiting for the PPI?
Yeah, I think
the
they'll
400 quid of PPI.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that will bail them out of this time.
Apparently the Greek government have admitted that living in their past is their Achilles heel.
No one was expecting that reaction,
No. Oxy, they went. Oxy to that. I think it's definitely a case that if they want to get bailed themselves out, like whatever, they really just have to invoke copyright law on all the stuff they invented some time ago now, right? But that they definitely invented, like democracy, triangles and gays. And if they...
Philosophy as well. The birthplace of philosophy, isn't it?
Or was it?
Yes. Oh, you
Who
know,
knows?
well...
Why do you think that there is a professional philosopher at home going, that's not what philosophy is? It's not just going, or is it?
I think there's a lot of opportunities in Greece, actually. I'm going to start a band called Cash Machine, because people will be queuing around the block.
But we've been told if we go on holiday to Greece that we should take lots and lots of money with us.
Yes.
To rub it in?
I think it's to pay your kidnappers.
I I think there's a ploy behind telling tourists to bring as much cash with them as they possibly can, because they know there'll be a load of overweight, old British tourists there with massive bum bags of cash round the front. They're basically just sitting human ATM machines. That's all they are.
Do muggers line up behind the tourists? Was one of them goes, no, €60 each.
Yeah.
There is a limit for mugging these people. That's it.
Someone started a crowdfunding for Greece, and it's got less than the Crystal Maze.
God.
Because people would prefer to go to the Aztec zone than Athens. That's a fact.
What currency is
If I
actually
said to
worked
you, I can take you to the Aztec zone or Athens, you'd be in there like a whippet,
I
Dara,
would,
yeah.
I would
You'd be shooting a sandbag with a
I would
bamboo.
choose a mind puzzle. I am already wondering which little square I'm going to go into. Yeah, it's good.
What I love
They're
is
like
that-
a whippet. I'm sorry, I've known him for a long time. Dara has never done anything like a whippet.
particularly hard. You've never seen him shit in a park.
I think you'll find.
I am not.
And he does it like a Great Dane. It's the way he locks eyes with you when he's doing it.
This is for you. This is for you, Byrne.
I'm glad we've dealt with Greece.
Has anybody noticed Dara's eye, by the way? Is it off-putting? Do you think the people at home will be concerned? What has happened?
I do. There's just a little sty in there. It's just, I got infected. So
Is that
it's,
really it?
No, it's a.
Has Brian Cox been beating you again?
Look into the telescope. He said, "Look hard into the telescope," and he bruised my eye, ramming it in. Shit. Go on, look at that. That hurt you. That's my good eye, Brian. That's my good eye.
He's just trying to turn you into Patrick Moore.
They're so worried they get me an eye patch. That, like, this would be much more subtle if I presented I presented the entire show like that, because I've got a tiny infection in the eye. To be fair, I have a secret desire to have an eye patch. You know, I don't want to ever lose an eye. That's not how much I want to have an eye patch, but I think they're cool. It's something massively impressive, because a guy with an eye patch, shit has happened. Because also you can do this. Sexy. So the final part of undressing in a sexy way would be to take off the eye patch and what?
You take my eye out.
In other news, what do doctors want us to stop using?
They're waiting rooms to sleep in.
People taking helium, and they enjoy it, and they speak very highly.
Bizarrely, that's correct.
It's a finite resource, and it's needed for MRI scanners.
And what not? Yes, very, very true, yeah. It's being used up on fripperies like balloons. And squeaky voices.
Yeah, although I'm doing this one without it.
They're worried that instead of helium then in balloons, they will instead start using nitrous oxide in balloons. But nitrous oxide is laughing gas. So then that's the worry, that the kids will be able to get high on their balloons if we end up having to do party balloons with nitrous oxide.
But if you're worried about kids getting high on nitrous oxide balloons, you can surely get high on a helium balloon just by holding on to it.
I was doing a gig at Festival, I think it was, and you could hear when people are taking nitrous, like you can hear it because there's an audible because they do it into a balloon and into their mouth to give themselves a giggle, and people were doing it at my gig. Actually, kind of it's a cruel heckle, isn't it? It's like, okay, I'm going to need something to get me through this.
Is it not people that, Ed, that you deliver one of your trademark jokes and the crowd will go... Was that not the sound?
I only found out those little canisters that they suck it from are called whippets. The little canisters of nitrous
That's
oxide.
right, yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they're
called
called whippets. Somebody said to me, the kids are sucking whippets in the park. And I was like, oh, my God, do I need to call the RSPCA?
By the way, how do scientists now think the universe will end?
Oh, spoiler alert.
It's a thing called the Big Rip.
Yes.
The universe is sort of is accelerating so fast and getting faster and faster and faster that eventually it will just rip itself apart.
Yeah.
Is that right? And that'll be the end.
They say this, how do scientists now think? what other nonsense have scientists just made up about what might happen 20 billion years from now when no one's around to say, oh, you got that one wrong. It's just nonsense that his mate Brian natters on about to keep himself siphoning BBC funds into his big fat bank account. I'll tell you what, it's all bullshit.
Me and Brian on the astronomy gravy train with all those millionaire, making a rain. Look at the Big Bang now, bitches.
What will happen, though? I mean, they're saying this might happen in 22 billion years. That you can guarantee it'll be the day that the Greeks do pay back the last cent.
Finally.
10 cents.
It's called the Big Rip.
The Big
The
Rip is
idea is
actually
everything's going to continue to accelerate faster and
It's an
faster
extension.
until the whole
It's
thing
actually an
just comes apart.
extension of the Big Freeze, and it's either
it?
that or the Big Crunch. Yeah, it's
Are they all the same thing?
No, Big Freeze would happen first, then the Big Rip would possibly happen after that.
And when is big yellow storage from that?
That is just off the M4 in Hounslow.
And then there's the big inns where the whole universe just goes into panto for the rest of its life. Big inn.
Oh, Big Ins!
I agree with that.
Wow, that was too long a journey for me.
There was a bit. There was a lot. There was a leap there. I agree with that.
Tell me that joke again, Ed. I got some.
Oh no!
Fine.
Now they're going to have to broadcast my bad joke for your good joke to work. That's the worst thing that can happen to a comedian.
Oh, you pick on Brian Cox, you pick on me, right? That's the way this works, my friend. At the end of that round, the points go to Matt, Zoe and Josh. Now we play a round called Grease Frightening. This game involves Zoe and Milton, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round's a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and whoever chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, let's spin the wheel for our first topic. And the topic is exercise.
We all know we need to do more exercise. I mean, we've now got the fattest kids in Europe. I'm not going to make fun out of obese children. I've learnt not to do that. They will come down on you like a ton of bricks. I didn't like exercising as a kid. When I was a kid, I was made to go swimming in a pool that had a Veruca pool before you got into it. The Veruca pool. Do you remember the Veruca pool? They actually called it the Veruca pool. You can't encourage children to walk in something that's called a Veruca pool. It's like offering somebody the use of your chlamydia flannel, isn't it? I mean, I try and exercise a bit more now. I've started doing yoga because apparently it increases your flexibility and spirituality. And I've got to be honest, it's pretty good. I'm now so good at the downward-facing dog, I have on occasion caught glimpses of my own third eye. I did a half marathon though a few months ago, which was pretty good. You know, don't be overly impressed, which you're clearly not. But I only finished yesterday, so there's clearly a lot of work to be done. And I did the run for charity, and I know a lot of people are doing things for charity. You can't just exercise now, can you? You've got to do it for a good cause. And I get a lot of those emails. I know we all do. You know, will you sponsor me? Will you sponsor me? I'm like, what are you doing? I'm flip-flopping up Kilimanjaro for diarrhoea. Going across the Arctic for trapped wind. Are you? Don't do that. I mean, the last London Marathon, it cost me an absolute fortune because I sponsored loads of friends, right? I gave one friend 20 quid because he was doing it for cancer research, another friend 20 quid because he was doing it for heart disease, another one 20 quid because he was doing it for diabetes. In the end, it was actually cheaper for me to join Bupa.
OK, that leaves us with Milton. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. And the subject is work.
I didn't think I'd get a loan from the bank for my knitting business, but when I turned up actually wearing one of the balaclavas... I used to be a weatherman. In fact, does anyone want to buy a broken barometer? No pressure. If there'd been a mix-up, my uncle could have ended up as the next president of the United States. He's an undertaker in the army, or Barack Obama. Soldiers, of course, very emotionally repressed. Sometimes you see one of them go into the middle of a parade ground and shout, "Attention!" What he needs is a hug. Well, that's what I thought. My dad, he was a soldier, so, of course, as a family, we were always moving around a lot, because he used to use us for target practice. 6 hours I had to wait in the other day for the electrician until he opened the cupboard under the stairs and I was able to leap out at him. I remember when I was a policeman, I was asked to seal off an area and I went... "Arr!" That's all right, thank you.
Well done. Points there for Mr. Jones. Come on back. OK, the next one is called Picture of the Week. I show the panel a topical image and ask them to tell me what's happening. So what's going on here?
They unveiled the banker on Deal or No Deal.
That's George Osborne delivering the budget, surrounded by all his friends.
Or is it Mr. Bean sets off on a picnic?
Is the caption quite simply, Osborne's trousers too short?
Or is he delighted that the front door doubles as a pause button?
Is it George Osborne with his budget box and he's delivering the budget this week?
Yes, he is. Thank you very much, Josh.
I think he should, because it is like the box from Deal or No Deal. I think it would be a lot more exciting if he did the budget like that. Say, goes to the opposition leader, I'm going to cut $2 billion in disability benefit. Or you can have the cut that is in this box. Deal or no deal? He could have a phone ringing next to him.
Oh.
That'd be bloody Brussels, I imagine, wouldn't it, darling?
Yeah.
The way things are going.
Yeah, sure, they make all the decisions around here. Bloody...
Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Josh, well, this show's going to lurch to the right.
Every budget in my lifetime has unravelled in the weeks afterwards. So they get the one big hit, everyone says, oh, actually, this sounds all right. And then it unravels. If you're going to lie in the first place, go triple large on it. Turn up in the comments and say, you know what? We've nailed it. We are all millionaires. That's right. No one's skint anymore, and we've solved poverty. And then at least have one day where people go, Osborne is a genius. Just have the one day where you feel like a legend.
I think that's where Greece went wrong, though.
In sporting news, who has been causing upset at this year's Wimbledon?
Oh, it's that naughty little Australian man.
There was a naughty little Australian man. Yes, there was.
Yes.
Rolf Harris.
No, he's not.
That would be genuinely disturbing. Wicka, 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 wicka. You can hear him coming now. Wicka, 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 wicka.
He's already been caught in the net.
Well, there've been a load of Aussie fanatical fans in the stands who've been making loads of noise, and according to that picture, Boris Johnson has just joined the fanatics as well.
The big question about them is how did they get so many tickets? It's impossible, isn't it?
They're all working in the bar and that's their break.
But they support Nick Kyrgios, don't they? They're called the Fanatics, aren't they? And they come in and they specifically support him. But he absolutely splits opinion. So in the Australian newspaper this week, there was a headline that went, Nick Kyrgios, breath of fresh air or a total dickhead.
What has outraged villagers in the Forest of Dean?
A swinging festival.
There was a swinging festival, do you know what it was called?
Swingfields.
Swingfields 2015 took place.
Yeah, but it's like, they had to call it that. It was either that or Creamfields.
Look at your little face.
Which is what they'll end up with, isn't it? I mean, it'll be the only festival you need wellies even if it isn't raining.
There was a quote from a local, a concerned local, saying that they'd found somebody trying to sneak into the festival through their back garden. Right? And they said, "Oh, this is unacceptable. We're very concerned about who will come onto our land." Not me. That's a genuine quote. I'm going for fun.
Did you see one of the locals complained that the music was too loud? Surely. Don't tell them to turn the music down. That is far worse.
It was £165 for the festival for the entire weekend, and they're promised a themed zone. A sauna, a hot tub. I'd use that on Friday afternoon and then let it go.
I was just imagining a field with a massive bowl of keys in the middle. That's how I was imagining.
It's the only festival where the car parks are busier than the fields.
It's revolting. I don't even use the toilets at festivals. I thought of using half the other festival goers. It's just...
I'd insist it was someone with a day ticket, I think, if I was going.
How did they not call it Astonbury?
Do you know what? My vote was for Tratitude. And in fact, the most popular queue was for the pulled pork stand.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've taken some various elements and brought them together in that joke.
Put it on again. Put it on again. The eye patch, yeah, put it on again. Go on.
Oh, you look funny. You look funny. Do the thing where you look funny again. You know when you made you look like the guy for the back of a fucking bus, and for 3 years, everyone sends you photographs of a cartoon man on the back of the bus every day on Twitter. Hey, Dara, I saw you in Manchester today, huh? Click. Oh, bollocks, that's bad. On the back of the bus again. Do that with an eye patch, and then for years, every eye patch person in the universe, I will get sent him on Twitter. Happy? There. I'll take it on my nose. Is that all right? Is that all right? Oh, I hurt my nose. So oh, wow, it looks like I'm wearing a G-string.
If the marketing people are clever, that bloke on the back of the megabus is going to have an eye patch by next week.
Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things for a sports commentator to say.
Embarrassing, humiliating, bringing shame on the sport. Welcome to Wimbledon Today with me, Claire Balding.
And it all comes to this. After years of training and preparation, I'm commentating on the Poxy water polo.
Mo Farah has apologised for his association with substances that the British public regard as abhorrent and has said he will never advertise Quorn again.
Welcome back to the golf, where Tiger Woods apparently travels with 2 inflatable sex dolls now in case he gets a hole-in-one.
And he's found a chocolate biscuit down the back of the sofa, but he's not going to celebrate because it's his old club.
And he's resting 2 balls on the cushion now, which is why he won't be allowed back into Icon.
And he pops the cork and he's spraying everyone with champagne. Welcome to the first Conservative budget since 1996.
Here we are at the Crucible, all burning to death!
Well, that was the speed skating, and now crack cocaine curling.
The American and the Russian are out in front, and here comes the Finn. Yes, they're going to swim a lot faster now. The shark is chasing them.
And so they've brought up a curtain around the horse that fell earlier, but no, we've got good news. He's moved to a farm in the countryside.
Well, here we are at the Rugby League. It's tough, men. It's better than rugby union and at the same time ever so slightly more gay.
And this decision's going to a touch judge, and yes, it's sexual harassment.
Well, this is his 3rd attempt with a bar at this height. No, still can't get served.
And here come the 2 Red Bulls, which is what you'll need to keep yourself awake during Formula 1.
I'm joined here by Balding, or Alan Shearer as he likes to be known.
Raikkonen now on Supersoft. The Viagra simply not working.
And if you want to find out what this function key on the keyboard does, join us after the break on F1.
And after the break, join me, Claire Balding, presenting everything. I present everything now. Everything is mine, everything.
OK, the next topic is unlikely things to hear on a gardening programme.
There's something about eating food that's come from your own garden. This is quite a hearty stew I've made out of a squirrel I shot with an air rifle.
Well, to answer your question, I tend to keep mine on a hose reel, but then I'm very lucky down there.
These pine trees smell suspiciously of air freshener.
My advice would be don't splash out on expensive gnomes. Do what I do and just simply varnish some small children I found playing in the park.
I call this my Blue Peter garden because it's the first place that I blew Peter.
Remember, the trick is to get your pitchfork right through it before you take it and throw it back over the fence.
Well, we've had a letter from Mrs. Smith of Epsom who's asked us to identify something that she has found in her garden. Well, Mrs. Smith, that is a dog turd.
I've got a letter here from Maureen in Doncaster who's asking a question about herbs. In response to your letter, Maureen, I would recommend about £200 for an ounce, and if it's really good shit, 300.
Well, that is the wheelbarrow, and tomorrow I'll show you another sexual position.
So it's quite simple to take up an old patio. All you do is just leave it. Let's not talk about it ever again.
I woke up in a field of aubergines the other day. I thought, none of these baby seals have faces.
Right, welcome to the UKIP garden. Sod the lawns, let's concentrate on them borders.
So you could use a lawnmower or a strimmer, although I would recommend waxing.
Take the shovel, force it right down like that. Save your fortune in vet's fees having it put down professionally.
Help! I'm being attacked by pineapples! Help! Help!
I like to plant my herbs in alphabetical order. People say to me, how do you find the time? I say, it's there next to the sage.
At the end of that round, the points go to Ed, Hugh and Milton. And that's the end of the show. This week's winners are Josh Widdicombe, Zoe Lyons and Matt Ford. Commiserations to Ed Byrne, Hugh Dennis and Milton Jones. Thank you for watching. I'm Darrell Breen. Good night.